Your party, what went wrong?
What went wrong was just stupid wokeness. All right, don't just look at Virginia and New Jersey. Look at Long Island. Look at Buffalo. Look at Minneapolis. Even look at Seattle, Washington. I mean, this defund the police lunacy to take Abraham Lincoln's name off of schools. I mean, that people see that, and it's just really have a suppressive effect all across the country. The Democrats, some of these people need to go to a woke detox center or something. I mean, that they're expressing a language that people just don't use, and there's a backlash and a frustration at that.
I know I'm really going to get myself in trouble for this rant, but so let me start by saying I am a moderate liberal and have been since the 90s. I'm a 1990s liberal. So I'm all in favor of helping people of color. I'm all in favor of equality for women, equality for people of color, supporting the LGBTQ plus. I'm trans friendly, homosexual friendly. I want to piss in the same bathroom as everybody else. Like I'm a moderate liberal. But am I wrong in saying that I'm getting tired of like wokeness being in every game I play, and every video I watch, and every tweet I see, and every show, and I'm starting to get turned off from it for a while. And I grew up on like Cheers and The Cosby Show and fucking Archie Bunker and like give it a rest, because you're breeding conservatives. You look at this election that happened in Virginia, and you look at the interviews and you look at the people who voted in Virginia, and a lot of these people would have been moderates. But because we're pushing so far to the left and expecting everyone to toe the line, we're creating conservatives. We're breeding conservatives out of moderates. And it's fucking hard to see. You'll never push me there. But terrifying.
This much motion in such a short period of time. And so I think Democrats have to look in the mirror now, because the New Jersey situation, you don't have a bunch of critical race theory stuff there. You don't have a bunch of Trump. You don't have Terry McAuliffe, doing dumb. There's something happening out here. It could be just anti-incumbent. I think that's a part of it. But I think that there's something else that's happening. I think that the Democrats are coming across in ways that we don't recognize, that are annoying and offensive, and seem out of touch in ways that I don't think show up in our feeds when we're looking at our kind of echo chamber. And I think that this is a message here, because Scott was describing a
Wait, when you're talking about you're talking about Democrats, because it seems annoying to a lot of people.
Well, I'm just saying. And frankly, the right attitude of humility and listening yet to get them.
I think that the attitude is important, Van. I mean, we've become, Democratic Party. What you've seen is it's become a more college-educated urban party in coalition with minority voters, and the messages tend to be moralizing. It's like it is. We are going to tell you. We will tell you what is right. And no connection to.
And at the same time, I also believe that while voters worried about the day-to-day economic issues, they're being browbeaten and saying that if you don't support these Democrats, if you decide to go with the Republican in Virginia, then you're voting for racists. You're voting for white supremacists. You're essentially voting for Donald Trump all over again. And people out there do not believe that about themselves. They do not want to be told that about themselves. And I don't think they fundamentally believe that America is full of the hateful kind of people that McAuliffe and Biden and the rest told us that Virginia was full of. And they rejected that today. And I think Democrats are going to have a difficult election if they continue to paint America in such a negative light, when Republicans fundamentally are going to say, look, we're good people. We all want the same things, and we have an issue set that will appeal to you.
I think that's fair enough. But what I will say is this: part of the reason.
One of the things that I'm hearing from moderate Democratic lawmakers this evening, who are obviously panicked, not the least of which reason is they're the ones who are most likely to feel the effects if this anti-democratic, capital D democratic wind continues to blow next year. One of the things I'm hearing is that their voters, and don't shoot the messenger, I'm passing on what I'm hearing, from somebody talking about what their voters feel looked down upon. And I'm not talking about Republican voters looking down, feeling that they're being looked down upon. I'm talking about moderate to conservative Democrats feeling that they're looked down upon by pundits, by progressives, by other people who say that, who, if they express a feeling that maybe the schools should open, even if the teachers don't want them to. Maybe teachers should listen to parents more often when it comes to what they're hearing. This is from a Virginian. Maybe Joe Manchin has a point when he says $1.5 trillion or $1.7 trillion is a lot of money. Let's take our time with it. Let's not rush it. They think that makes sense to me, and they don't want to be insulted by progressives called whatever names for that.
Yeah.
Is a more moderate Democrat, former law enforcement officer. In Buffalo, the socialist Democrat that won the nomination, it looks like, we haven't called it yet because they have to count the write-in votes, but it looks like the incumbent Democrat, a more conservative guy, a more moderate Democrat, it looks like he's going to win a write-in campaign. We have that Minneapolis police, the elimination of the police department, lose it in Minneapolis. That is a very liberal town. And then you have the Terry McAuliffe, basically Democratic royalty in this country, losing the governor's race to Glenn Youngkin. I don't know what's happening in New Jersey, but it's anybody's race, including a guy whose name we're all still learning how to pronounce, especially me, Jack Ciattarelli. This is a bad night for Democrats, and they control everything. It is, I don't know if it's a rejection of the Democratic Party or the party moving too much to the left or the party not delivering on progressivism. That's for the Democrats to work out, but it is a rejection.
Yeah, I mean,
This is a big deal. These numbers are bad. This is not these are our voters. These are voters that came to us in 2018, came to us in 2020, and have abandoned us in droves in 2 states that should be in our call. That's a big deal. That is a 5-alarm fire. And I think that, look, I hope we can pass these big bills. Bill Clinton was able to turn his ship around and survive after the judicial hacking in 94 by doing a lot of small stuff that just lets you know he was on your side. He was talking about school uniforms. He was talking about V-chips for kids. He was talking about all kinds. But you know what? For ordinary folks, that guy cares about me. That guy understands what I'm going through. If this party doesn't wake up tomorrow morning and figure out how can we run back to regular folks and regular folks' issues. Now, some stuff we've been talking about is good stuff. Helping grandmas, helping kids, but it's been buried, it's been lost in this cold, big DC conversation about trillions of dollars. We've got to, both from a legislative point of view and from a messaging point of view, start re-signaling to ordinary folks that we get it. Otherwise, look, we're a year out from the Trump election looking back, and you're a year away from the midterms looking forward. You see how much stuff can turn in 12 months. That's the good news. People want to participate. That's the good news. But we've got to take this message very, very seriously tonight.